Guys, what can I say? Apparently, what I'm being told, but I don't know how true this is that LinkedIn had a big, well, for lack of a better word, fart or speed wobble or something that went wrong. So we lost the stream there, and we appreciate you if you still here. We're gonna kind of carry on where we left off, which was right at the beginning, unfortunately. But let's carry on with our interesting topics that we have today. As I was trying to say before LinkedIn kicked us off, we have Pierre Leroux, who's the CIO of Reframe. Pierre, welcome, and finally we have you in front of this live stream.
Thanks for having me again.
Yes, I appreciate that your AI probably works better than LinkedIn streaming service at the today, right? Okay, so let's take it from there. So Pierre, we kind of were just about to start explaining who Reframe are.
Where we started.
Yeah, where you started, and please maybe just enlighten the audience as to where you guys fit in and what's your products and your mission.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so as I said, we started about a couple of years ago. We wanted to start an AI practice, and we thought, well, where will we start? And security is actually true to all of us, especially in our homes and businesses. And then we said, well, how can we apply AI to our current camera systems to make intrusion detection or security a bit more proactive.
Okay, that's definitely something that, I mean, I've got a camera system at home. I'm sure many people, if you've got an alarm system, you might even have a camera system. So this is definitely topical to all of us, right? So we're talking physical security, not cyber security or anything. We're actually talking
physical security.
Yeah, exactly, right.
So I mean, if you've currently got a normal alarm system that's got a beam outside, what would happen is the alarm would trigger and you won't really know if that's a tree or the cat or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
So you'll have to go to your camera system, and then you'd have to scroll through hours of video or in order to find actually what did happen. If you really want to find out if somebody was in your yard.
Yeah.
So what we are doing is we are putting AI on top of the actual video stream and doing then constant analytics on that. We can then tell if it's a person, an animal, or a vehicle. So based on pre-configured zones, that would then mean that you would get an alert sent through to your Telegram group, and then you can cut that visual.
Okay, so Telegram. So there's quite a few platforms happening here. Let's unpack this a little bit. I mean, so we've got basically a normal, day-to-day kind of, general purpose camera system. We're not necessarily talking about a camera system that's already AI enabled. This is just a normal RTPS stream.
RTSP stream, correct.
RTSP stream, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it doesn't necessarily need any more intelligence other than being able to monitor and trigger on that camera, right?
Yeah, correct.
And then this is basically an advanced intelligence AI that you guys have developed. And you're using a open platform such as Telegram to send the alerts out, right? So this is accessible to pretty much anybody with a phone and downloading
Telegram. Okay. 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's really, really interesting. I mean that's definitely something that makes this a way more accessible, area. So maybe tell us what your experience is, if you've got any kind of intelligence on your camera system at home, or if you've got any of that. Really, really appreciate your feedback on this. So Pierre, how did you guys get to build this system? How did you, what was the way forward in getting, to this point where you are now? What was the models that you've looked at?
Yeah, so originally we started with a Raspberry Pi, which is a single board computer.
Yeah.
So that has some GPU capabilities, which means we can do AI inferencing on the edge.
Okay.
And that is where we then had a look at connecting to any RTSP stream, even to cameras that doesn't have, like you said, any AI capabilities.
Yeah.
And then applying certain AI models on top of that to generate inferencing. That we found was not too accurate, and there was a performance issue.
Well,
plus we had to deploy too many Raspberry Pis to connect to maybe say standard households got between 4 and 8 cameras, so four Raspberry Pis.
So that's a bit clunky, right? I mean, it's good to tinker. I mean, we're not talking about your Oma's apple pie. This is a Raspberry Pi, a little board computer, right? I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
So what did you? How did you bring GPU acceleration into this?
Yeah. So then we started researching a bit further, and we actually came across the Jetson Nanos.
NVIDIA Jetson Nanos, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And realizing that the GPU on that single board computer is a lot more capable. So we managed to set that up with a more accurate and performance-based
AI.
neural network.
Okay,
or
neural network
model.
Yeah.
And being able to stream or accepting streams from up to 8 cameras on the edge.
Okay.
And then doing all the processing on the edge, and the only thing that you then really break out is to send the alert.
Down to Telegram or that type of thing. So maybe, I mean, on the show on Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner, some of the videos that we've done, you might recall that we've actually discussed, you know, edge computing, cloud computing, on-premise data center, all of those different ones. But maybe we can just kind of recap and, you know, in this particular case, use case, you can just explain and elaborate what those models mean in your context of video analytics.
Yes, 100%. So on the edge, we would typically put the Jetson Nano,
Yeah.
or another physical device within your environment. That means it's connected to your network. It's connecting then to your cameras on your network.
Yeah.
So all the streaming happens locally. All the processing happens locally, and your results are then shipped either to a Telegram or upstream to another server where you can gather statistics on.
So that AI processing is happening closer to the source of the data,
Correct,
really,
yeah.
right? Okay.
And you save on bandwidth.
Yes.
So you don't have to stream out all that streams over the internet.
Okay. Okay. And
the cloud?
cloud, yeah, you can just, well, maybe let's, before we jump into the
Later,
cloud, what was the challenge then with the edge kind of approach?
Yeah, so that actually works pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, functionally and theoretically.
Correct.
Technically,
if
it
you
should
do
work,
drop
right?
internet connectivity, the processing will still keep on happening, and you can branch out to local notification mechanisms.
Yes.
The problem then came in that there was a bit of a shortage on these Jetson Nanos.
Yes, the great silicon slump of 2021, 2022, and probably 2023, 4 and 5 going forward, right? So,
Correct.
and that's kind of how we met. It's how Reframe
Yeah.
and Data
So
Science
we
is,
reached out to you guys. And
yeah, every dark silicon cloud has a silver lining. I don't know, maybe that's, you know, terrible, but yeah. So I mean, so this is how we came across each other earlier in the year. In your
asking you
desperate,
for some Jetson Nanos.
yeah, desperately searching for nanos, but unfortunately they you can't find it. Yes, I think you've got better luck with the Holy Grail than finding a Jetson Nano. So you know, what did this prompt? I mean, so obviously that model works, but we couldn't, you know, there's no ways we could actually deliver this, you know, this particular edge model.
So we then decided to look at what other capabilities is offered by these by various cameras.
Yeah.
And currently, a lot of brands offers a capability to actually trigger an alert on the camera, motion-based alert,
Yeah.
and then send it in an email format.
Ah, so you don't have to stream the entire feed.
No,
The camera just sends you the relevant
email
frames.
with the frames, 3
Okay.
frames of 2 seconds apart.
Oh. And I guess that's also
Depends on your
lower,
config,
yeah, and lower on bandwidth, right?
Yes,
And-
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still relevant information because the motion was
Yeah.
triggered, right?
Plus, then you don't need the device at the edge, so you know to do the setup is a
Simple.
lot easier.
Okay.
So that then streams back to the cloud environment,
Yeah.
and then on the cloud environment is where we then run the inference and all the other processing around the alerting rules,
Yeah.
and then we send the alert out from there to Telegram or
Okay.
email if you
Okay.
need that.
Yeah. So we can then from there send it out. Okay. So in this model, I mean, obviously you don't have the triggering happening locally. The processing isn't happening locally. It's happening in a cloud data center. And you know, what type of platform were you looking at for that?
Yeah, so we've been looking at a cloud platform. Unfortunately, we found AWS on Azure is a bit too costly for us.
Okay.
You know, and it sort of blows the business case a bit.
Especially
Then
for
we came-
GPU. I mean,
Yeah, for
it's great to
GPU,
start stuff up and test it. but-
containers and all those. kind
Yeah,
of
yeah. So I mean, the
processing.
platforms are great, but yeah,
So then we discussed with you guys again, and this time you can actually
we actually
guide
could
us.
help.
So
Yeah. So
yeah, so we enter into your Oxide platform.
yes, Oxide Cloud. So we've not actually, we've always been more focused on this channel regarding NVIDIA and the AI side of things. But obviously, you know, GPU processing in the cloud is part of that. So Data Sciences offers a cloud platform. It's called Oxide Cloud. services, and you can go to oxidecloud.co.za and go and have a look. We are going to be refreshing the website, but this is the platform that you then selected to host your application, and also to use the GPU stuff.
Yeah, correct.
GPU power, should I say?
That's where we're currently running.
Yeah. So, and that's in production right now, eh?
Correct.
Yeah. And we're really, really happy. It looks like it's working pretty well. And that is, at the moment, are we doing just the email one, or are we doing video streaming as well?
So we've set up what we call real-time streaming analytics as well.
Okay.
On your GPU server infrastructure.
Yeah.
Whereby if you expose your RTSP streams externally, then we can connect to them, and in that scenario we'll do the analytics again, or the inferencing in the data center,
Okay.
or in the cloud. But you would have to stream that
It's a
stream.
higher. It's a
Yeah,
higher.
from without your environment. And these days it's not necessarily a bad thing,
No.
because you typically will have a fiber line
Yes.
with a lot of spare bandwidth going upwards
Yeah.
that you might not be using. So
Yeah.
that
So
also
both
works
options.
well.
But I mean, the email one is definitely sufficient. So we're running both of those in the cloud. So that brings us into quite a few different areas on how this service has been put together. So I mean, I think maybe in our next follow-up part that we're going to be doing with you, we might delve into it a bit deeper, and also the other applications. But you selected NVIDIA. I mean, obviously you were looking at the Jetson Nano Edge boards, right? Data science has come from the infrastructure world. We understand hardware, so we understand GPUs from a hardware level, how to put them in the correct configurations, moving data to them, all of that type of stuff. That's our game, right? Your game is the clever software part of NVIDIA, the actual mathematics, the models, the neural networks, the SDKs that you utilize to actually generate, and utilize that data on the GPU. So maybe you can kind of just give us the story of how you got to that point where you selected NVIDIA as the platform.
Yeah, like I said, we looked at the Raspberry Pis. We also looked at other options like AMD processors.
Yeah.
We just found that the
I love an
NVIDIA
AMG processor, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah. But anyway, let's
Not
go back to
saying
the AMD one. Yeah.
But we found that the NVIDIA-based tech stack around the GPUs and is a lot more easy to use and to actually get stuff up and running. So
Okay.
it's a much more ease of use.
So you didn't have to kind of.
SDKs
Yes.
readily available to get a new use case up and running quickly.
Okay. So, I mean, maybe the audience can, give us a bit of feedback if you've got any experience and looking at some of the other GPU platforms. I mean, they're all great. AMD makes a fantastic kit. There's other ones out there as well, and it sometimes can actually turn into a bit of a religious war, especially in the gaming industry, where we have very, very loyal individuals to their platforms. But I guess in the application we're talking here, in the business application of GPU technology, the time to value, the barriers of entry into a complete ecosystem that facilitates the fast delivery of that. You're not really worried about the engineering so much, right, of getting
Correct,
that all
yeah.
working. You're trying to get to the business case,
Yeah.
right? That's it.
And AI works pretty well on the NVIDIA GPUs.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the kind of key. If you think about NVIDIA's smart city, initiatives, intelligent cameras, sensor-driven data, visual data. If you think of Omniverse and how all of those things all fit together, they really are geared towards video analytics in that way. Okay, so I mean, so that's really kind of what brought Reframe and data sciences together is the whole NVIDIA relationship and coming at it from kind of two different angles and making this work. So it's really,
Correct.
really cool. Yeah, now we have them in our cloud. We actually have, we're busy working with you to develop our GPU as a service, on Oxide Cloud. So that's been really, really great being able to, to do that. So maybe what we can kind of talk about, Pierre, and, if the audience has got any questions or any thoughts, this would be great as well, is all of these things, the tech is great, but obviously Reframe has quite a vision around this, and security in South Africa, our communities, our families, this is something close to all of our hearts, right? No matter where we come from, every single one of us are impacted by this. So maybe you can kind of just, I've heard the story, and I think
Yeah.
it's a great story. So maybe you can just kind of elaborate what Reframe's massive transformative purpose is with regards to
Yes,
this.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this platform, we would be able to actually democratize security and actually make security or proactive security accessible to normal households.
Yeah.
People that can't normally maybe afford expensive monitoring services or armed response can now utilize this platform to monitor their cameras and then send alerts based on that. So you're actually putting your security in your own hands and making it accessible to the community, the households, and to your business.
I mean, this is, I think, something that is, that is really important. And that sense of comfort that we always, want to have, that sense of security is definitely top of mind for most of us, right? So if we can actually start enabling communities, to be able to combat this, and create these streams and sharing them with each other, is that something that's possible?
Definitely.
So
what some of our clients currently do is that they would set up their outward-facing camera sets on the street. They would actually share that within the community. So
Okay.
you can say this camera must send to this particular alert group.
Okay.
If everybody does that in the community, that whole street becomes visible.
Yes.
So you as a homeowner in that community can start tracking vehicles and people flying through the
Yeah.
suburb.
So a true community security platform,
Yes,
right?
correct, 100%.
And I mean, and it doesn't mean anything. You can literally create this on a Telegram group, and I think a lot of communities already have created similar kind of platforms. So this would literally just kind of integrate into that platform for
Correct,
them, right?
yes.
They're already using it, so for them
100%.
to adopt it would be, just enabling it, subscribing to the platform and enabling their cameras to stream. And I guess then if you have like a local security response, guys, you could probably add them to that group as well.
Yeah, send the alert to the vehicle means that the armed response guy coming into the situation or the event, it's actually got a visual alert, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, he's got limited live view of the camera that triggered the alert.
Okay.
So you can then see if there is still somebody lurking around there, or the situation that he's entering himself into.
And you see, this is the thing, because traditionally, leave a comment if you want this, what your experience is with cameras. How many times is cameras actually more a reactive, kind of tool, rather than something that is now, what you're doing is really turning it into a preventative tool or proactive engagement, creating situational awareness. You're not having false alarms because you can identify if it's a human or an animal or a vehicle that you're working with, and it gives that situational awareness to literally the guy responding, right? He knows what he's walking into.
100%.
That's really changing the way that security is done currently in South Africa. I think I think monitoring massive screens and human fatigue and all of that is big factors in why some of these things happen. Having this at your disposal would really change that, right?
We're very excited.
Yeah. So Pierre, this is just the start, I guess, in what you guys are doing, and our relationship as Data Sciences and Reframe together. We're really excited walking this journey with you. We definitely want to have Pierre back in a future part 2 on Reframe technologies and on the application of AI specifically in video analytics. Maybe what we can do is name some of the other use cases that you are looking at, and then we need some help from you guys, the audience, to maybe pick what you would like to see, right? So let's say the top 2 or top 3 is what we're going to speak about in our next video. So what's some of the other use cases, Pierre, that Reframe is looking at?
Yeah, great. So currently we are looking at occupancy management, specifically around hotel rooms.
Okay.
We are looking at
hospitality industry.
We're looking at facial recognition for business and home use.
Yeah.
We are looking at tailgating from a vehicle perspective, entering through a boomed area.
Unauthorized access.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And that, I mean, that's typically how hijackings and things are done, or
Correct.
plays into that, right? Yeah.
Loitering, that's a big thing. People
Okay.
lurking outside your house.
Okay.
Maybe I'll stop there.
Yeah,
There's
we'll
more.
stop there. I also know that you've got document
Recognition.
document recognition for a business application there. So there's a few points already that we've got, and I see we've actually got a question here from Adrian Lowe, and the question is, what are the future plans for Reframe regarding AI cameras? So good question, Adrian. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Is there a view on this from Reframe? Have you guys looked at it?
I'm just trying to think if I'm understanding the question correctly.
Yeah.
AI camera specifically, I presume you're talking AI capabilities on the camera.
Yeah. Maybe enabling it on the camera. Adrian,
Yeah.
welcome to let us know if we're on the right track, but
Yeah.
let's start with that. Yeah.
So I mean, there's two parts to it. There's not, like I said, there's the analyzing the RTSP stream. There's actually using the motion capability of the camera to actually trigger the alert. And then there are the AI capabilities on the camera as well. So we are currently using those as well to actually trigger events, and then we
Okay.
will filter that out further down the line on the
Yes.
on the cloud side.
Okay.
Because a lot of the cams, not all of them, a lot of the cams out there would only say it's an object, won't tell you what it is. So we can then supplement and add value to actually do that. We have been, we've partnered with DAO. I'm not sure how many people out there are familiar with the DAO.
DAO camera. I've actually got a DAO camera system. Yeah.
So, and that will provide us the ability to actually deploy application onto the camera itself,
Yes.
which is your more high-end type cameras. And
So I
hopefully
guess-
I've addressed the question.
Yeah, so hopefully, Adrian, that helps with the question. We really appreciate the feedback, and let us know if we're on the right track or if we need to delve into this a bit deeper. But that's also something that we can explore a little bit further, is the different types of AI, and what makes one AI a bit different or better than the other one. I mean, we haven't even touched on how you go about training your local AI modules.
Yes.
The whole art of localizing the training that you're doing, right? So typically a lot of the AI is quite generic, and how do we specialize this in there? So let's have a look here. I've got a question on YouTube from what are these cameras configured for, from Tatiso. Well, they're typically configured for security, right? Your home security. So it's one of those.
But you could use it for other purposes as well. We've actually got clients that set them up around their pools,
Yeah.
to actually track when the animals or the kids enters that particular area in the pool, and then
Yeah.
they get an alert on the phone.
Yeah.
Or onto the gate, they can see when the gate is open, the dog's going to run at the gate. So it becomes a bit of a lifestyle enhancement as well, and not just focusing on the security side. The platform will cater for any of that scenarios.
So I mean, I know for instance that I have a little mini schnauzer, and he's 13 years old, and he used to be able to swim. We've actually, I know this, we bought him a little life jacket, as well, so yes, okay, I like dogs, but that is a fear for us, right? Because he's going to fall in it. We might fall in. So I do have a camera that looks at the pool, so I could literally create a zone and detect for an animal in the pool, right? If he crosses into that zone.
Crosses before you even get to the pool.
Before he's even, exactly. So by that time, at least I can
you
send
can run
him
out and go and save him.
So I mean, I think that's the power, is that it really, whatever you can visualize with a camera, and that you can kind of identify with an object type, and create these kind of basic trigger rules.
Correct. Yeah.
You'll be able to do. And then obviously you're not going to worry if if a human jumps into the pool, or if it's a vehicle that's going into the pool, you might want to be worried.
It does happen.
Yes, I've seen some interesting insurance claims in our neighborhood.
No, exactly.
So Diso, we hope that answered some of the question, or gave a little bit more information. And thanks, Adrian. It seems like we managed to answer your question to satisfaction. So that's really good. And we appreciate the interaction, everybody. It's really good to to be able to speak with you, and to have these questions answered. And if there's more, please feel free to answer away. We can carry on if there's any more questions. But we are looking almost at our time, that we're done for, our scheduled time. So we really appreciate you joining us live today on Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner and the live stream. Our special guest today, Pierre Leroux, who's the CIO of Reframe, and doing some really exciting stuff with AI analytics, especially in video. Please, guys, do us a favor. Please like, share, and comment on our stream. Or if you're watching this video a little bit later, please go ahead and do that. It really helps us to get the AI algorithm, getting us to help that. So appreciate the feedback, appreciate your time, and we'll definitely let you guys know when part 2 is coming out, probably about 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Cheers.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
Bye.